Well, let's get into the portals and see what they are reporting. And I'll bring you in studio and introduce to you my guest. Today, for the first time, I think we're having someone in studio. I'll introduce him to you later. But let's get into what the news portals are reporting, and then we can come back and deal with what's happening. Let's start with My Joy Online. It says, the banner story there, selective justice is destroying trust in Ghana's anti-corruption system, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh says. And Goodboard CEO explains clear typo in foreign reserves claim. So that is there. Again, Joy FM Family Party in the Park, it kicks off today at Ebri Botanical Gardens. And Ghana's democratic debate is too insular and afraid of change. Constitutional Review Chair. That's from an exclusive interview with my colleague Kweku Asante there. It says 24/7 campaigning is a choice, not democracy. Constitutional Review Chair. A politician attorney general model is broken and no longer credible. Constitutional Review Chair says, once again, in that particular interview with my colleague Kweku Asante. And Giadek dismisses claims government plans to award Yenahin bauxite concessions to Ibrahim Mahama. And Trump says U.S. military struck ISIS terrorists in Nigeria. We'll bring you the, details of that particular story later on. Let's do citynewsroom.com. And it says, Fifi Kwete, early flag. Okay, I think that we dealt with this particular story later on, yesterday when we were reviewing the stories. Let's do BBC now. And it says, U.S. launches deadly strikes against Islamic State in Nigeria, says Trump. The U.S. president accuses the group of killing Christians, as Nigeria's foreign minister tells the BBC the strikes were a joint operation and nothing to do with religion. Okay. Zelensky hails new ideas on peace after talks with U.S. envoys. That is also there. We will be dealing more with the U.S. Strike on terrorists in Nigeria, much more. We've been joined by Dr. Nanaya Omreku as well on Zoom. He is an international relations expert. In studio, I have Dr. Jabir Mohammed. He's an economist at the University of Ghana Business School. It's been ages since I saw you, even on Zoom. Well, have you gotten some consultancy business somewhere that's taking your time these days?
I'm working very hard to get some.
You have to. You have to, because consultancy there is the best thing.
It's the best to do.
But when you get, please.
Well, I'll remember you. I have something small for the boys.
Well, Professor Isaac Body is Dean Accounting and Finance Faculty at UPSA. Prof, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're well.
Very well.
Okay.
Good morning to your viewers, my good friend as well.
And Merry Christmas to all.
No, you left me alone.
Good morning.
I'm happy I found it today.
I didn't leave you.
Okay, let's get on to Zoom now. I'm bringing, he is also a newly minted doctor, PhD holder, Dr. Nanaya Omreku. Doc, let me start with you. We woke up to this post by Donald Trump. I hope we can even read that post for you. We'll put it up so that you see it. Talking about the U.S. striking the heart of the ISIS, he used terrorists in Nigeria. And he goes further to explain that these guys were terrorizing or killing Christians. And he says this is a warning to them that if they continue killing Christians in Nigeria, he will be, the U.S. will be bombing them more. And he sort of, trivializes the people who have died. I want us to give you that particular tweet there. We'll get it up for you. But Doc, as we wait for that particular, this morning when I woke up to that particular post from Donald Trump, I was like, hey, okay. So I think we have. Let me try and grab it up for you quickly before I come to you, Doc. So on that particular post, it says, tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. May God bless our military and Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, Portus. So that is Trump, speaking there on social media. But we understand the Nigerians have also spoken as well. They've released a statement there, and it says, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria confirms the Nigerian authorities remain engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners, including the United States of America, in addressing the persistent threat of terrorism and violent extremism. This has led to precision hits on terrorist targets in Nigeria by airstrikes in Northwest. In line with established international practice and bilateral understandings, this cooperation includes the exchange of intelligence, strategic coordination, and other forms of support consistent with international law, mutual respect for sovereignty, and shared commitment to regional and global security. Nigeria reiterates that all counter-terrorism efforts are guided by the primacy of protecting civilian lives, safeguarding national unity, and upholding the rights and dignity of all Ghanaians, irrespective of faith or ethnicity. Terrorist violence in any form, whether directed at Christians, Muslims, or other communities, remain an affront to Nigerian values and to international peace and security. The federal government continues to work closely with its partners through established diplomatic security channels to weaken terrorist networks, disrupt their financing and logistics, and prevent cross-border threats while strengthening Nigeria's own security institutions and intelligence capabilities. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will continue to engage relevant partners and keep the public informed through appropriate official channels. Signed, Kimiebi Imo Motimi Ibiafa and Ipera, spokesperson, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Abuja. Okay, and a PR there. So that is the Nigerian speaking. The Dr. Naya Miracle. I'm sure you woke up just like I did to this particular matter. Is it surprising to you what's happening and what you do make of what Donald Trump said and what Nigeria clearly is trying to say that, well, this is not based on this because they killed Christians, but this is to say we want to safeguard our country and its sub-region?
Well, good morning to you, my friend, and good morning to your viewers and the panel members in your studio. And once again, compliment of the season to you. The tweet itself is instructive, it's profound. I think it was Theodore Roosevelt who said that as an American president, you need to speak softly and carry a big stick. But you've seen that Trump's kind of presidency and diplomacy is different. So we see how he likes to make big U.S. foreign policy activities around the globe. And usually this kind of strikes would have been communicated in a more politically correct, posture. But you've seen how he's making big, making it verbose and making it look grand in his own style. But that also goes to tell you that he is satisfying, a domestic constituency in US's, politics. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows he's playing to the gallery of, the midterm elections come 2026, especially the Christian evangelicals. He has been touting this idea that for a long time, there has been what you call religious persecution of Christians in Nigeria. And there is a certain statistics to prove this, except to say that Christians are not the only ones that have suffered at the hands of these Islamist militants over the past years. It's becoming a real security issue for Nigeria, both Christians and Muslims. In fact, just some few days or some few hours before coming here, there's been a report that there's been an attack on a mosque in Maiduguri that has left 7 Muslims, dead. But that notwithstanding, the U.S. government, Donald Trump, clearly some months ago, there is what you call the International Religious Freedom Act that was enshrined by the UN, the U.S. Congress, that mandates the U.S. to sort of police religious freedom around the world. It was signed in 1998, and the U.S. government, but Donald Trump claimed that there's been religious persecution of Christians in Nigeria, and the Nigerian government is unable to deal with the situation. And so we saw some few months ago he was making threats that he was going to go guns a-blazing, in quotes, in Nigeria. And just recently, we've seen that it started with an intelligence gathering. I hear there is what you call the Mississippi-10A, military aircraft that was dispatched from Ghana and had been conducting military intelligence for the past few days. And when I think they had collected enough intelligence with the cooperation of the Nigerian army, they struck into the heart of northern Nigeria, Sokoto specifically. So it hasn't come to me as a surprise. Once President Trump, says he's going to do something, there's a lot of evidence to show that when he says something, you should take it seriously. But the Nigerian government has been quick to add that this was an intervention by invitation. And so there is no violation of Nigeria's sovereignty, but it came at a clear cooperation of the Nigerian government, with the U.S., government.
So that statement is not a deviation to or an opposition to what Trump said. I mean, for them to say, well, this is not really about whether they kill Christians or whatever, in opposition to what President Trump said.
Well, that is what the Nigerian government wants us to believe, that it's a pure military exercise, and that it could have been carried out against other people that were also attacking Muslims, not only those attacking, Christians. But there is a school of thought that says that, the Trump government has been desperate to establish a foothold in the West African sub-region, and especially after 8 military bases was forcefully evacuated from Niger, Agadez in Niger, and then I think Chad. And so this gives them some leverage. Once you are able to play that role of being that outsider that cooperates with the Nigerian government to battle its insecurities, it gives you a foot in the door. And then if you're able to keep it going, you start making, other demands. So there is also, look, Donald Trump is transactional. Let's not make any mistake about that. There is something to gain from these strikes. Otherwise, they are happening all over across the world. There are religious persecution, to say, for want of better words. Why, double down on Nigeria? But this is an indication to show that the Nigerian government has come out clearly. But if you look at the post by Donald Trump, it looks as if it's a unilateral decision. And I'm happy the Nigerian government and Pete Hegseth, who is the Secretary of War, also tweeted that indeed it was a pure, military cooperation between the U.S. government and then the Nigerian government.
Now, at this stage, once this has happened, do you expect Ghana to be speaking when we know how, these guys react? Must we just keep quiet on it and say that we don't want any problems, so we won't talk?
Well, when you say these guys, who are you referring to? Are you referring to
the ISIS? That when you start speaking, maybe they could turn their guns on you.
See, the thing we must understand is that probably these strikes or the military intelligence should have been gathered from other bases besides Ghana. Maybe if U.S. bases in Niger or in Chad was functional, some of these intelligence gathering activities should have been conducted from there. But right now, because Ghana has what you call the West African Logistic Network, WAN, or what you call the Status of Forces Agreement that Ghana went into with the U.S. that allowed the U.S. unfettered military access, that give them, strategic, exercises and logistic, to deploy their resources in for security in Western and Central Africa. it was a necessity, right, for them to deploy this intelligence gathering aircraft from Ghana. But the thing is that I'm not so sure whether we can say that this makes Ghana, a collateral damage, in the fight against terrorists. Of course, in time past, some of these terrorists have struck some assets that they think are connected to those fighting against them. But in this instance, the intelligence gathering capability, to me, wasn't that conspicuous, and so I'm not hoping that it becomes something that bedevils, Ghana. But we have this military agreement with them. They have established some foothold here, and the facts are there. The evidence is there for us to know what the U.S. military does here, in Ghana. But I don't think that it puts us in any danger, whatsoever, if you ask me. Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. So do stay with me. Let me come in studio now and bring in the two, a colleague doctor and then a professor. Let me start with you, Doc. A brief comment on this. What do you make of this development that Donald Trump says, well, if they terrorize Nigerians, we'll bomb them?
Well, this is a very sad news, if I may say, because Nigeria, as you may say, is one of the big powers in Africa.
Okay.
So if Nigeria is going to be consumed by the US, you can imagine what is going to be to our trade in Africa. ISIS has been one of the key distractors of the sub-region, especially when you go to most of Mali and Niger and other places. And Nigeria, for instance, this Boko Haram and others have long ago been striking the place. Not only the Christians, but even the mosques. They've been bombing mosques, killing a lot of Muslim brothers and co. So if Nigeria is also descending on them, you can imagine what is going to be happening to our sub-region. So I think that, in my candid opinion, Donald Trump is, as he said earlier on, is looking out for something. He will never go into a war without anticipating something. So he's looking at the economic gains, the economic benefits, etc. If you look at what happens in 2003 thereabouts, when the US struck Iraq and Afghanistan and other places, they significantly gained a lot as a result of the war. But that notwithstanding, it has a serious implication on those places. Even up to now, the replication of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan is still rumbling in that places because it has distracted the whole architecture of the governance system. So when you, torture with the sovereignty of the nation, you torture with the security of the nation. So this is something that Nigeria, as the authorities are coming out with a lot of information, trying to collaborate with the US so that some of these attacks do not happen. I think they need to solve the problem amicably. I think the Nigerian security also have to, be proactive in trying to resolve the challenges of the ISIS or Boko Haram or whatever it is, so that at least this kind of killings will definitely stop. If they are able to do so, I don't think that the US will strike them. But let's assume that Donald Trump consistently keep on giving empty threats, that the security, the security of the United States do not control that, do not agree to that. And finally, what I want to say is that the UN must work on this so that this thing does not actually affect this.
All right. Okay. All right. Prof.
Yeah,
brief comment on this.
Yeah. Today will not be a good day to have heard this story. It's a sad day for Nigeria and globally.
That's what Nigeria is celebrating. It's a sad day for the ISIS, not Nigeria.
No, even to wake up and hear this story.
Okay.
Yeah. Today is Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. What a period it is.
And it's a period of Christmas.
I get it.
It reminds us of hope, sacrifice.
Yeah.
And it's a period that we show affection to those who are struggling, and that those who also need our support. We woke up this morning. It was yesterday, I think late in the night. that I heard the story, around 1 p.m. or so that I heard the story. I mean, quite unfortunate to hear this, you know. We wouldn't condone, we wouldn't support any activities that would take life of individuals. I followed this story for some time, what is happening in Nigeria. The fact that Christians are being killed, and my good friend also indicated that some of the mosques are also being destroyed. It's not a good practice, and we don't want this to happen in any part of our world. We are very close to Nigeria, and whatever happens over there, we should be concerned, because they will eventually move into our country, and if we don't control this. But I must also indicate, Brace, that security problems are not solved only by force. Okay. Only by force. There could be so many other avenues. I'm not an expert, so it's difficult to suggest some of the things that we could use to solve this problem. So I think that if there are other means of resolving this than using strikes and the rest, some people might be innocent and they'll be part of this exercise. And I'm sure regional cooperation also is very important than the unilateral action by the USA. So they should find other means of resolving this. Okay. Thank you.
Doc, just before I let you go, your final words on this. How can Nigeria and the US and the world sustain the gains that they've made from the strike?
Well, so I think that every action against terrorists or security issues must be sustainable. And so if the Nigerian government has cooperated with the US in the first strike, how sustainable will this strike be to actually make impact on the ground? So going forward, I think that we need a socio-economic approach holistically to deal with the issue. And so if there are other resources that the US can, give out in terms of this holistic socio-economic approach than just the kinetic approach or the kinetic avenue, I think that a combination of that and the socio-economic approach to looking at the crisis, helps to resolve it than just, the crisis. And I'm happy that the government of Nigeria, if you read the statement carefully, it says that in collaboration with the US, just like other countries. So I'm thinking that their eyes are wide open, and at the end of the day, they make sure that their political sovereignty is maintained, and they don't lose so much in cooperating with the US in fighting against this security threat. And I must add that this is a transnational threat. Terrorism is transnational in the West African sub-region. And so I personally think that collaboration is important, whether it is with regional entities, whether it is with other superpowers that have the means, to bring this crisis, to a controlled, level.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Dr. Nana Yaw Miracle is international relations expert.